The smile. The swagger. The spark he brought every time he touched the ball. The hair bouncing, the flair exploding, the fear injected into anyone brave enough to stand in front of him. The samba rhythm, the silk on the ball, the carefree joy he played with. For him, football wasn't just about the results. It was a canvas. It was poetry. And every match was another chance to paint something outrageous. He wasn't just a footballer. He was a performer, an entertainer, a showman who made crowds gasp, defenders panic, and kids fall in love with the game. He was Ronaldinho, the forever smiling wizard who dragged street football into the world's biggest stadiums. Ronaldinho grew up in Brazil, the land of futsal courts, dusty pitches, and elasticos on every corner. He came from a humble background, but football ran in the family, as with most Brazilians. His father played at a local club, and his brother represented Grêmio before injuries shut the door on his career. And just when life couldn't get tougher, Ronaldinho lost his father at only 8 years old. Football became his refuge, the only place where the pain finally softened. So, he clung to sport even tighter. In the streets, he was always the smallest kid, the one weaving through bodies like he was programmed differently. That earned him the nickname Ronaldinho, literally, Little Ronaldo. He played anything that involved a ball, football, street football, beach football. If people were kicking something round, he was always there. These battles in tight spaces sharpened his touch, his close control, his impossible dribbling, and the street-born creativity that Europe had never seen before. And then, boom, at 13, he exploded onto the radar of the entire country. In a youth match, his team won 23-0, and he scored all 23 goals. Everyone who saw it knew immediately, this kid wasn't normal. He represented Brazil at the 1997 Under-17 World Cup, lit it up, and soon earned his promotion to Grêmio's first team after a decade in their academy. By 18, he was already embarrassing grown professionals. In 1999, he famously twisted Dunga, Brazil's World Cup winning captain, inside out, twice. The world took notice. So did Arsene Wenger. In 2001, Arsenal were ready to bring him to London, but when his work permit fell apart, so did the transfer. He even considered joining St. Mirren in Scotland, but a past passport scandal shut that door too. Well, their loss. Because everything eventually steered him towards PSG. In Paris, he linked up with another street football icon, JJ Okocha. With Okocha beside him, Ronaldinho played like he owned the city. Raw, unfiltered, electric. He wasn't always a starter, but every time he stepped onto the pitch, he delivered. Goals, assists, magic. His first season showed Europe exactly what was coming. Even if his coach complained he partied as hard as he played. Paris nightlife 1, discipline 0. But the streets had birthed a superstar, and the world was about to feel it. At first, his nightlife habits seemed like nothing more than a harmless side quest, because no matter what he did off the pitch, Ronaldinho still turned up and tore teams apart. But ironically, that same lifestyle would later chip away at him right when he was reaching his peak. For now though, he was unstoppable. And he carried that swagger straight into the World Cup that summer. In the Brazil squad, he linked up with Ronaldo and Rivaldo, the legendary 3Rs, a trio that terrified the entire planet. It was Ronaldinho's first World Cup, but he played like he'd been there for decades. 5 goal contributions in 5 games, and one of the greatest free kicks the tournament has ever witnessed. That audacious 40-yard floater against England. He lobbied Seaman from near midfield to put Brazil ahead. Then, just 7 minutes later, he got sent off. He missed the semi-final, but returned for the final and helped Brazil defeat Germany to lift their 5th World Cup. He made the All-Star team and returned to PSG walking on clouds. Ahead of the 2002-2003 season, PSG handed him the iconic number 10 shirt, and with that weight came even more freedom. That year, he scored the League One goal of the season against Guingamp, dancing past players with feints, step-overs, and then chipping the keeper after carrying the ball from midfield. It was pure street football set loose in Europe, and everyone wanted a piece of that magic. Barcelona's new president, Joan Laporta, announced he wanted one superstar: Henry, Beckham, or Ronaldinho. Henry stayed at Arsenal, Beckham went to Madrid, so Barca went all in for the Brazilian showman. Manchester United wanted him too, but the Catalans outbid everyone, paying £30 million, a fee that would later look like theft. After only a few training sessions, Barcelona's coach, Frank Rijkaard, was already stunned. He brings something different every time he touches the ball, and Ronaldinho wasted no time proving it. His first Barcelona goal was a thunderbolt, picking up the ball near halfway, slicing through Sevilla's midfield, and unleashing a 30-yard rocket off the crossbar and in. Spain immediately understood. La Liga had a problem on its hands. But there was a downside. Barcelona leaned on him too much. He had them in 4th by November, but once he got injured, the team collapsed, dropping to 12th. The moment he returned, he scored and assisted in the derby against Espanyol, sparking a run where Barcelona lost just once in 20 games, climbing all the way to 2nd place. He finished the season with 34 goal contributions in 45 matches, and won the 2004 FIFA World Player of the Year award, beating Shevchenko and Henry to the crown. But that was only the warm-up. The next season, he carried Barcelona to the top of La Liga, staying there from October until the finish line. He also dragged them into the Champions League knockout rounds, scoring one of the competition's most iconic goals against Chelsea, surrounded by defenders, still managing to fire a shot from distance straight into the net. Moments like that were what set him apart. Ronaldinho wasn't just productive. He turned every match into a show. The tricks, the swagger, the pure joy he brought made millions fall in love with football all over again. Even his captain at Barcelona couldn't hold back his admiration. Puyol once said, "The biggest praise I can give him is that he gave Barcelona its soul back. He made us smile again." And it was true. His smile lit up stadiums before he even touched the ball. And as if the fans didn't adore him enough already, he also helped launch the next era of greatness. On May 1st, 2005, Ronaldinho delivered the assist for Lionel Messi's first ever Barcelona goal. A moment that, looking back, felt like the handing over of a crown. But he wasn't done giving. Not even close. Before passing the torch, he swept every award possible for his performance in the 2004-05 season. He won the inaugural 5th Pro Player of the Year award, claiming his 2nd FIFA Player of the Year, joining Ronaldo and Zidane as the only repeat winners, and capping it off with his first and only Ballon d'Or. Individually, it was peak Ronaldinho, but collectively, the 2005-06 season soared even higher. He kicked it off with one of the greatest El Clásico performances ever. So mesmerizing that the Santiago Bernabéu stood and applauded him. Pause for a moment. Let that sink in. The Bernabéu, one of the most hostile grounds on the planet, rose to applaud an away player in the middle of the fiercest rivalry La Liga has ever seen. El Clásico, pure legend. Only Maradona has ever received that honor in a Barcelona shirt. That moment confirmed it. Ronaldinho wasn't just respected, he was universally loved. That season, he helped Barcelona lift their first Champions League trophy in 14 years, contributing 11 goal involvements in 12 matches. In the final against Arsenal, he orchestrated everything. It was his pass to Eto'o that led to Lehmann's red card. Many expected him to win another Ballon d'Or, but Brazil's quarterfinal exit at the World Cup hurt his chances. He finished 4th in the Ballon d'Or and 3rd in the FIFA awards, edged only by finalists from Italy and France. Still, from his arrival at Barcelona until 2006, Ronaldinho was simply untouchable. Even 2006-07 was strong. 37 goal contributions in 49 games, still dazzling crowds. But a new star was emerging. Messi had grown into Barcelona's fresh prodigy, overtaking Ronaldinho as the club's focal point. Messi finished 2nd in the FIFA World Player votes and 3rd in the Ballon d'Or, while Ronaldinho dropped to 5th and 12th. The shift had begun. Yet, Barcelona wouldn't fully transform until 2008, when an untested manager named Pep Guardiola walked through the door. One of Guardiola's first major decisions as Barcelona's new manager was the shocker. He told Ronaldinho his time at the club was over. This was still one of the most gifted players on the planet. Why would a rookie manager push him out? The truth was simple. After 3 years of obsession, discipline, and magic, Ronaldinho had slipped back into his nightlife habits, and training intensity had dropped. Pep saw the trend, and more importantly, he feared the influence it could have on a young, rising Lionel Messi. Remember, Ronaldinho was only 28, nowhere near the age where decline should have set in. It wasn't his legs that forced him out. It was the nightlife that finally caught up to him. In hindsight, Barcelona's decision proved golden. The very next season, they won everything. Literally everything. Completing a historic sextuple. La Liga, Copa del Rey, UEFA Champions League, Spanish Super Cup, UEFA Super Cup, FIFA Club World Cup, 6 out of 6. Still, even with this dip in form, Ronaldinho remained a prized asset. Manchester City reportedly put £25.5 million on the table and were ready to hand him £200,000 per week. Mind-blowing wages for 2008, he said no and chose AC Milan instead. But Italy only amplified the problem. Milan nights got louder, the parties got bigger, and Ronaldinho's decline only sped up. By 30, he was already heading home to Brazil, turning out for Flamengo, Atlético Mineiro, and Fluminense, before hanging up his professional boots in 2015 at the age of 37. And later, briefly joining the Indian futsal scene just for the fun of it. The ending wasn't glamorous, but his name still brings joy anywhere football is spoken. Even when he landed in prison in 2020 for using a fake passport in Paraguay, he lit up the place, starring in an 11-2 win in prison futsal tournament and being involved in 11 goals. Classic Ronaldinho. That's who he was. The trophies, the fame, the money, those were extras. At his core, he was a kid from Porto Alegre who loved the ball at his feet and wanted to make the world smile. And in that mission, no player ever succeeded more. He came, he danced, he dazzled, he won, he inspired. And he did it all with joy.